Angeles, California. Welcome to the Late Late Show. I'm your host, TV's Craig Ferguson. Please sit down, relax. Relax. Unwind. Take your pants off. Slip them off your long, gazelle-like legs. Throw them into the corner of the room. Ruffle up your hair and get ready for me. Ooh, spring must be coming then. Hey, it's a great day for America, everybody. I'll tell you why. It's a great day, especially if you're into comic books. I read today that there's plans are underway for a national comic book museum inside the Empire State Building, which is like, I don't know if it should be in New York, though. Shouldn't it be in Gotham City if it's an Empire? I'm still studying for my citizenship. I don't know everywhere yet. I'm not sure how I feel about a comic book museum, because I used to read comic books when I was a kid. Now they're in a museum. That means I'm old. Well, funny. All right, fine. The comic books I used to get, though, was in Scotland. I'm not originally from Los Angeles. I got them in Scotland. We used to get our comic books delivered. Once a week with the morning newspaper, they would deliver the comic book. It was on a Friday, usually. And the highlight of my week was a comic called The Sparky. It was a comic book that I used to get. I loved The Sparky, and it had a character in it. I'm not kidding, it's absolutely true. A character called Invisible Dick. And he was... That was his name. That was his name. Invisible Dick. And he had a magic flashlight. And... he would shine, it shone a black magic beam out of the flashlight, and it made things disappear. I don't know why he was called Invisible Dick. Maybe it went off in his pocket or something. Anyway, don't applaud or the censor will hear you. There's another comic book I used to get called The Beano. That was a big comic book in Britain for the kids, Beano. And they had a character called Dennis the Menace, who was fantastic. Nothing like the American Dennis the Menace, who's kind of like cheery and mischievous. This was... Dennis the Menace in Britain, he was crazy. He wasn't like a cheeky little boy. He was downright evil. He was evil. He'd blow up his teacher's garden with fireworks and stuff. It was more like Dwayne the Criminally Insane is what he was. They should have called him that. That was more like it. Anyway, the big newspaper where I come from, the big newspaper on a Sunday in Scotland, is the Sunday Post. And it has two full pages of comic strips. One page is a family saga called The Browns, which is Scottish for The Browns, because the family are called The Browns. And the other page is about a little kid called Oor Willie, which is Scottish for Our Willie. It means Our William, which is embarrassing in Britain because Willie is slang for the male genitalia. So it means our penis. Which has nothing to do with Invisible Dick. I'm just saying. When I think of the subliminal messages that were going on in these comic books, I'm furious. No, once in a while, the first time I got to see Americans was the drawings that used to be in these comic strips. Because they always, every now and again, they would have an American character show up. And they were always from Texas. They always had, big hats and smoked cigars and said, everything's bigger in America. We have apples the size of a man's head. I thought, I have to go there and see these head-sized apples. And they'd have French characters, too. French characters who would smoke and wear stripy T-shirts and be rude. Very accurate about the French in many ways. I don't like you. I don't like your country. I don't like being in this comic. I surrender and I'm on strike. There were no English people in these comic strips, though. It was a Scottish utopian vision, a world with no English people in it. Only Scots, French, and Americans, which is all we care about. We don't want to... We got the American comics, too, though. We got the American comic books, the tougher, larger-than-life characters, the big-time Spider-Man, Batman, Nancy. We got them all. And, of course, Captain America, which I always had a bit of a problem with, Captain America, because of his tiny little shield. It's like a paper plate. I hate to be unpatriotic, but I think Captain America's kind of gay, isn't it? I mean... Captain America was always fighting Nazis, even in the 1970s. Like, they're like, you're a Nazi. And Wonder Woman, there was Wonder Woman who I wonder what Wonder Woman's superpower was. She didn't have a superpower. She had an invisible plane, which is cool, I admit. But she had